We're live, Mr. Wade. Uh, Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. This is the Belizean Affairs Show number 478.
478.
478.
478.
So,
Yes, sir.
at some point in time, we'll make the 500.
That's it. Well, 500 coming up, man.
Mr. Wade, a couple of weeks ago, I think, uh, well, a few shows back,
Uh huh.
I said we were at 90, I think it was at 95 or 90, something like that. I had said 96.
Mm. No, oh, okay.
I thought we were so close to the 500,
For the
right? So I had to
500.
apologize and back up and say no. I was falling about 20 shows further ahead.
Yes, sir.
Anyhow, yes, Belizeans that brought home. We're grateful for the privilege to bring to you again another Belizean Affairs show, and this is the 478th show. And we hope that whatever we have to present tonight may accrue to some positive public benefit to our Belizeans at home and abroad and others. Our chairman is not with us immediately yet, so in the meantime, we'll do the preliminaries of our show as we normally would do.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I'm going to say a short prayer and then I'll yield to Mr. Wade, our senior panelist, to give us a reading for tonight, grace us with a reading. And
Yes, sir.
then after that, then I'll ask that if he has anything in mind that he'd like to bring to the attention of the public, any cautions or anything like that, in terms of our immediacy, in terms of hurricane season and everything else that we are undergoing right now, that he should, give us an opportunity to bless us with some of his thoughts on those particular issues. So just let me go ahead then and bow my head and say a short prayer. Divine loving Father, once again we come before thy presence, asking that thou would continue to guide and protect and bless us, that thou would take care of our family members, each and every one of them, as if they were each mentioned by name and number. Pray that thou mayest bless our friends as well. Pray that thou mayest bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership. Pray that thou mayest bless this country too, its people and leadership, and that thou would have mercy upon those people who are in war zones, who are losing their lives and limbs and liberty. And we pray that thou mayest bless those who have need of food and clothes and shelter. The rest is mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Are you, Mr. Wade?
Thank you, Leonard, for that warm prayer.
You're welcome, sir.
It's always a pleasure to sit in your company, sir. And I'll go straight to the essence of our time. I go straight to our reading, Leonard. I'll
Yes,
do a
sir.
reading from Deuteronomy chapter 1, 9 to 18. And it's titled Leaders Appointed.
Amen.
And it reads, chapter 9,
Yes,
so
sir.
verse 9. It reads, At that time I said to you, I am not able to bear you myself. The Lord your God has multiplied you.
Amen.
And behold, you are today as numerous as the stars of heaven. May the Lord, the God of your fathers, make you 1,000 times as many as you are and bless you as
Amen.
he has promised you. You, how can I bear by myself the weight and burden of you and your strife? Choose choice for your tribes. Choose for your tribes wise, understanding, and experienced men,
Amen.
and I will appoint them as your heads. And you answer me, the things that you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the head of your tribe, wise and experienced men, and set them as head over you, commanders of thousands, commanders of hundreds, commanders of fifties, commanders of tens, and officers throughout your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And I charge your judge at that time, hear the case between your brothers and judge righteously between a man and his brother, or the alien who is with him. You shall not be partial in judgment. You shall hear the small and the great alike. You shall not be intimidated by anyone, for the judgment is God's.
Amen.
And the case that is too hard for you, you shall bring to me, and I will hear it. And I command you at that time all the things that you should do. That's my reading, Leonard, from Deuteronomy chapter 1, 9 to 18.
Yes, sir.
Here the
Uh,
Lord is talking about both leaders, commanders, and judges, Leonard.
yes, sir.
They should judge small and big cases just alike, which here in the nation of Belize has not been happening.
Yes, sir.
So,
No fairness in judgment.
no fairness, sir. And he also said that the ones that is too hard for the judge, bring it to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he will take care of it. But, that's just my little, you know, saying there, but, you know, uh, I know it's always, good to be back with sitting with you guys. Was
The pleasure is mine too,
busy.
Mr.
Yes,
Wade.
sir. Yes, sir. You are a true patriot and a servant of your people, and you know you have a good heart in terms of want to educate your people, my brother, and that's very nice, very nice.
Yes,
Not
sir.
not everyone likes to do that, because in some cases there are people, Leonard, that is upset with when one get a little bit too educated
Mm-hmm.
or know a little bit too much. They get mad with you because you shouldn't. That should have never happened to a person like you, to know and to say the things that you say, right? So, um, I give thanks and praise to the team, because that's what we do, Leonard.
Yes, sir.
That's
Definitely.
what we do. We are liked by some, and we are not liked by some because of the things we say and do. Um, and I think why we do that, because we are very independent people, Leonard. Very, very independent.
Very well said, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's the difference.
Yes, sir. Again, I just like to keep reminding our people, about the June to November. The hurricane season, and they need to protect their lives and family and loved ones and property, because in the past we have seen that the authorities and the people who are supposed to do such things, serve and protect, they serve and protect only a few. So that's a never-ending saga. So I urge my people to protect themselves and take care of their properties and secure it, because then we never know uh, what will happen. We cannot tell. Only the Almighty knows about tomorrow, not us. Um, so just be mindful, and I call on the our young black people, men and women, children, to take heed and stop the killing, killing up each other. The gang warfare. Stop. It need to stop. The innocent lives that are taken on a daily basis. I don't know if it's an ethnic cleansing. I I I I sometimes see it that way. Because the authorities, they step in and say that they are going to do this to stop it, and it's been um, for some times now, very long time now, and nothing has been done in terms of slowing it down. They come with a multitude of venom to the people that everything is okay and everything is under control, and this is the best the Belizean people had ever lived in 43 years. Well, I'm only repeating, it's up to the Belizean people to decide. It's so sad to see their priorities, you know. Again, I call on those who traverses the highways, to take heed. We have very, very bad road conditions, very, very bad roads. Um, for those of us who commute the road and knows what I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
could see and adhere to what I'm saying. So please be mindful um, when you're traveling on the highways. Be very, very cautious, and look out for the other drivers. Um, be careful on the roads, because some sudden one you're driving and some big potholes appear, and some very deep ones too, Leonard. Lately, some very deep ones right in front of you. Sudden, you're going 50, 60 miles an hour, and sudden, and then if you go on the shoulders, you cannot go on the shoulders because you might flip over or damage your vehicle.
It's
Right.
loose pebbles,
Yes, sir. No, and it's
and
a big
then
drop. I'm not talking about loose, sir. A
you
big
could get
drop.
you could
Big
get
drop from the. Yeah, sir.
blow up tires too.
Yes, sir. Very big drop. And those are things that the system knows. They get money and time again to pass administration. They get they know that these are dangerous things, and they get money to fix it. But what they do, they squander the money, and you back to square one, right? And every time it's a repetitious cycle. So these are the things that upsets me, to see that if you get some money to do something, do it right, and do that what you're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it does not happen in the country of Belize. It's quick to get that money, and it's quick to see how the ministry just squander that money. They find a way to embezzle it. They find a way to reward some big supporter, and in the end, does not do the job that they should do. And they wait
Uh,
again and go and appropriate more money to do the same thing. When you look, they get kicked out of power. Nothing is done. When you look at the next administration come, get that same money now to do that same damn job, right? That should have done years ago on the last administration.
uh, Mr. Wade.
So
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah,
I
no. I
just
thought I thought you was pausing for a second, so I was going to jump in.
no. Go ahead,
Um,
sir. Go ahead, sir.
just exactly on
These
what
are
you're
the
talking
things that
about, the loans that the
upsets me.
people go and get. The last meeting that they had Friday, they were asking for another 200 million dollars, and the time before that, they were appropriating money and trying to get money from the house again I think it was for beat BEL
BL. Solar
to
solar
put
panels
70
and
no to put $70 million into BEL's pocket to buy some shares from BEL. But in order to have BEL get some money so that they can pay out that money to their shareholders, while right now they're squeezing the people of Belize for electrical bills higher than two, three times higher than what the people they paid last month.
yes, sir.
And some people don't have the money to pay it, so they won't cut them out, I guess. And then almost every time they come to the houses for money, it's all about money. Okay? Now, I yield back, sir, because
It's
I was
so
going to let you
sad.
finish your thought. I asked you just now for a chance to put
Yes,
in on your thoughts, no?
so we could see the unjust. We could see the repetitious cycle of the squandering and the fleecing of the Belizean patrimony, right? We could see that all, like you just mentioned, all the, and we're talking about, all the loans and the grants that these people get, and and
Mm-hmm.
and nobody asks them for itinerary of what you did with that money, right? So it's so sad. And it's a repetitious cycle. Past and present administration does the same damn thing to the Belizean people, right? And they seem to forget that when they get these grants is to do something for the Belizean people, not for a UDP party or a PUP party, right? This PUP party, we could see now that the things that they're doing with these grants, right? 25 million the other day for sargassum. Nothing has
Mm-hmm.
been done. They want to get some more money again, right? And nobody should question these people, right? And then when a question, well, the UDP did that, and the UDP did this, and hell, what is wrong with you guys? Why the hell do you think that the Belizean people elect you or kicked out the UDP out of power and
Mm-hmm.
gave you that chance? Not to, isn't it not to do the right thing or fix it? But you're gonna stand up there and venom. Oh well, the UDP spent this and the UDP thief that and the
And,
UDP did this and the
and,
UDP did that.
and
You
they
got
are
to be
already in their second
ashamed of
term.
yourself.
They're in their second term, Mr. Wade.
See, and who support you guys in the venom that and who believe you guys with the venom you put out there, right? Who in their right mind believe these people, Leonard? I'm saying, who in their right mind believe these people? Like this prime minister, like I've always said, nothing, Mr. Johnny Brisseno, nothing that comes out of that man's mouth, I, Rudy Wade, believes. Right? You could shoot me or do anything you want to do, or have any assertion about Rudy Wade saying this. That's the way I feel, based on what I have seen, the pattern of this man when asked a question, right? Or when want to get something done, the things he say, the length he goes, and in the end, all lies, just to blow you off, all lies. But seems that a lot of people love and believe that man. So anyway, I could care less, right? But I speak the way I feel, right, and the way I see things. Leonard, I pass it to you because I think you have something you want to.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, our chairman for tonight is not available as yet, so what we're going to do is we're going to improvise an alternative program, and hopefully, if we have an opportunity to show up, then we'll just turn over the show to him and let him do as he please, because tonight is his chairmanship. But in the interest of the public, we don't want to have too much dead air in the presentation of the program, and so therefore, Mr. Wade and myself have volunteered to do the next best.
Yes, sir.
So um, I want to speak to some of what you read earlier, Mr. Wade, in the scripture reading.
Yes, sir.
I want to contextualize some of that from the Old Testament and speak to it not only during the time of the New Testament, which has long gone as well, but in the context of our present Belize Constitution, as it addressed the same very matter. I want to go to section 121 of the Constitution of Belize, subsection 1, and it reads as follows. The persons to whom this section applies shall conduct themselves in such a way as not to, as in paragraph A, to place themselves in positions in which they have or could have a conflict of interest. B, paragraph B. I don't see nobody else in the background yet, so I'll just proceed. To compromise, they should not compromise the fair exercise of their public or official functions and duties. As in paragraph C, they shall not use their office for private gain. As we have recently had the situation occur in the Mira case, in the case of the other ministers and related family members, as well as the cabinet secretary, who end up creating a company just in order to dip into the same process that others have been doing, which is to disgrace and dishonor their high office and position, not to demean their office or position. E, they are not to allow their integrity to be called into question, or, as in the case of F, to endanger or diminish respect for or confidence in the integrity of the government of which they form a part on behalf of the people of Belize. Under subsection 2, it goes on to specifically stipulate whom these people are that is being referred to above. Under subsection 2, it says, this section shall apply, or this section applies to the Governor General, members of the National Assembly, those who are elected, members of the Belize Advisory Council, who advise the Governor General, members of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, who keep a purview over the legal and judicial services of the country, the Security Services Commission, which is basically the police department, the BDF, and the Coast Guard, or the Public Service Commission, who are all the public service employees, or members of the corporations and government agencies. Members of the Election and Boundaries Commission, public officers of statutory corporation, as in the case of Mr. Lizarraga, and those members of that detail board, which is a public company, not as he tried to stipulate, being the chairman of the board of that organization. It appeared that he himself did not even realize that that was a public company owned and controlled by the people of Belize, and having the government of Belize, the cabinet of Belize, and all other subordinate officers of that company having a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders of that company, who are the people of Belize. But this jackal gonna come and tell us he can go behind his board room doors and enter into secret agreement with whoever he wants without consultation with us, and to do as he pleases with our patrimony and our assets. That's not exercising judicious management and dispensing or exercising um, fidelity to us, the owners of those shares, only to come many months after the fact, after he was beaten down in the ground and was shown his errors or the errors of his ways. Then he turned around and confessed that, oh yes, indeed, the company belongs to the public. Had the people not raised up and put pressure on the government and embarrassed them and demand that they comply with the proper requirements to handle our personal assets, they would not have done so. They would have gone ahead and gave out millions upon millions, tens of millions of dollars again to Mr. Ashcroft after having told us that they had gotten rid of the man after paying him off another almost $400 million. They still want to take us for Kunomono. I still haven't finished reading this particular section of the Constitution, so please bear with me. Let me finish up the reading. And it's not very much more. It's just a small little piece left. Made mention about the Election and Boundaries Commission, as well as the public officers of statutory corporations, such as what I had referred to in the case of DTL, and government agencies, and such other officers as may be prescribed by law enacted by the National Assembly. So it is right here in the Constitution of Belize, under subsection, under Part 10 and Section 1 and 2, that these people herein enumerated and specified or classified have a fiduciary responsibility to us, the people of Belize, that they should not violate. And in violating those fiduciary responsibilities, they ought to be, as a minimum, fired, if not prosecuted as well. I would like to go to, I'll ask you for your comments, Mr. Weir, in just a second. I want to go to the beginning of the Constitution, the preamble, and just make another small reading to contextualize with what we just mentioned just now. Just give me a second. I have to. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think I'm getting close, so I gotta slow down. Let me see, how close am I? Five. Okay, I need to go at least another page. I need to get to the preamble. Okay, I'm close. I'm right there now. That's it. I got it. I'm gonna turn it sideways so it reads a little better. We, the people of Belize, the preamble to the Constitution of Belize, which is what tells the drafters of the Constitution what should be enshrined in our Constitution. Under the preamble of Belize, it says, whereas the people of Belize, under paragraph A, for example, affirms that the nation of Belize shall be founded upon the principles which acknowledges the supremacy of God, faith in human rights, and fundamental freedoms, the position of the family in a society of free men and free institutions, the dignity of human persons, and the equal and inalienable rights with which all members of the human family are endowed by their Creator. As in paragraph B, respects the principle of social justice and therefore believe that the operation of the economic system must result in the material resources of the community, being our patrimony, being so distributed as to subserve the common good, that there should be adequate means of livelihood for all, that labor should not be exploited or forced by economic necessity to operate in inhumane conditions, but that there should be opportunity for advancement on the basis of recognition of merits, ability, and integrity, that equal protection should be given to children regardless of their social status, and that a just system should be ensured to provide for the education and health on the basis of equality. Yet we have a government currently in place, voted in place as a legitimately elected government, who is using the powers vested in them on our behalf to do for themselves basically a highway robbery of our treasury, you know, for not saying it in another blackguarding or derogatory way. And at the same time, using those powers to oppress and suppress us, the Belizean people, and attempting at that to grab additional powers beyond those that are enumerated right here in the Constitution. Why? Because they want to change the Constitution in such an onerous way so that they can be exculpated from what this Constitution requires of them, and that they will have the authority then to issue any edict or decree from their own mind that would then constitute the laws of the land as compared to the Constitution being the supreme law of the land. I yield back, Mr. Wade, for your comment, sir.
Thank you, thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome,
It's so
sir.
it's so sad, Leonard, to see that how these people set. When I say these people, like you mentioned, Leonard, people who sits in this office, who sits in these seats, that the people elect them to protect and serve, and to see how these people, just when they sit in this office, sits on these seats, they just try to see how they could succor the Belizean people, succor the nation, how they just see how they can get rich, how they could enrich themselves and their friends and family, right? And disregard the very same people that you spoke about in the Constitution, who they should be, the a nation who they should be protecting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this man, I go a little bit back. This man, Dean Barrow, when he was the leader of this nation, he stood up just before he left. They voted him out, and he said to the nation and pointed to the opposition then, Johnny Briceño, that what he was going to do with BTL through smart, if you
Mm-hmm.
get elected.
Mm-hmm.
So I see how far the same scenario that we are at now, how far that scenario was seen,
Mm-hmm.
right? How so I wonder if both of them were plotting. I don't know. It's just me. You might have a different theory. People might. I think that they were coercing already for him to say that. So how? But neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is that, you know, instead of this man be sitting on that leadership seat, thinking about how he could lead the people, how he could make life better for the people and nation. Look what this man is thinking about. Enriching Ashcroft again and enriching his family members again through smart.
It's a disgrace.
Right? And nobody thinks, well, I not say nobody because we here are somebody, we see it, we talking about it, we don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so sad to see how John public out there, the PUP public then, sees that this man is doing no wrong. I'm just saying the PUP public because it's a PUP government.
Well,
And
the Prime Minister
so,
himself, when the media ask him about the wrong that the ministers are doing, he's saying that they're doing no wrong, and we got to wait till the results comes in, till the report comes in, which will give us less than nothing on this report as well, like what he did in the last report. Are you back, sir? It's crazy.
So yes, Leonard. So you know, is it only we seen these great ills that these people are doing that they are not supposed to be doing? They're not, and they're still, they haven't even been dragged into court or dragged for these ills, these wrong things that they're doing. When the little man there steal a can of canned beef or a little bad man or something, they hurriedly draw him to court and send straight to jail. Right? So I see what kind of people but anyway, it hurts me to see how these people continue to do the ills and the wrongs and their corrupted ways and the evil things that they continue to do, and people surround these people and like nobody sees that they're doing wrong. Nobody. Because when I say nobody, I mean people in authority, like the police. Isn't it your responsibility to investigate and to uphold the law and to drag somebody into court when they are being charged and do wrong things and because these are wrong things as per our constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, Leonard, nobody seems to honor our constitution, Leonard. I don't think so. Not I haven't seen it in this People's United Party government. Right? They don't want to hear about the constitution. They don't right? They want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I think in my upbringing and as a former police officer, former BDF, I think that's the main core of holding people accountable, our constitution. Right? And I think that once you are sworn to serve and protect, that should be your Bible, the constitution. That's what you should work by. But here you have a commissioner of police that is a stooge for this government, and any other commissioner are stooge for the person who give them that job, because a lot of them are not qualified to sit in that seat, in my personal view and as per what I know. They are not qualified, right? But because of the boss give them that job, so they have to honor that boss and throw away serving and protecting, right? And carrying out their duties as mandate and as honoring the constitution. They throw that out the window, Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Right? So these are things, that really upsets me. Right? I am only me, but I am grateful to God to give me the privilege to speak how I see it. Some people might say, you're not talking truth, you're not talking, yeah, but you know, that's on them. But what I'm saying is that, it's so sad to see how these leaders are behaving, and it's so sad to see how our people are.
Here and a bit there.
Ex- that's what I was going to, right?
Yes, sir.
See, so you know, I guess we are waiting on the end times, and maybe a new law and order, a new constitution, and a new will uphold this land, right? But right now, I don't see our constitution being honored, Leonard. That's how I see it. And as for that BTL crowd, that those that Briseño appointed on that board,
They
and
need to go.
those that Ashcroft appoint, and it's so sad. You see that lady, Miss Nardia Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
right? She is in she is in everything that when it comes to money and business, right?
Well,
She's there, right?
I think she's the CEO for the Ministry of Finance,
For
for the Prime Minister
yeah,
office as well.
for Ashcroft.
No, for the Prime Minister, the
Oh, oh,
CEO
oh,
for the.
oh, oh, oh! I thought she was CEO for Ashcroft. Right.
Well, in a sort of way, I laugh just now, right? But
Okay.
you could almost say it like that, because in reality, um, from what I know, she seemed to be working always to try and help make Mr. Ashcroft collect. You know,
So
when the Prime Minister came in on his first run in 2020, and the first win in 2020, she was the appointed person who was looking after the interests of Mr. Ashcroft to make sure that out of that 10%, the Prime Minister had and pull the system to make sure that the money get paid out.
yes, sir.
So it's not
Again,
like
Leonard.
it wasn't a mistake. The chairman is in the background.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, sir.
this,
Well,
no, 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 it's
he
not the
let him.
chairman. Let me bring on. I think it looks like Mr. Morrison. Yes, I think it's Mr. Morrison. Let me bring it on. Good night, Mr.
Good
Morrison.
night, Mr. Morrison.
Good evening. Good evening. Good to
Good
see you,
night.
Mr.
Good night.
Wade.
Thank
Thank,
you very much.
thank you, Mr. Morrison. Glad to see you too. And again, I thank you for bracing us always, bracing in my absence. You braced us. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I see
We,
you popped up on my screen for different things from time to time. So I said he's around and he's doing well. So
Yes, man. Yes,
it's
man. Yes,
always a
man.
pleasure being here with you guys. And once again, I'm sitting in from California, and it's always
name,
a
name,
pleasure participating.
your name, please, Mr. Morrison.
Oh,
Please, for the
Gregory
public
Morrison.
purposes. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, Mr. Morrison. We were into
Yeah.
that BTL saga, right? And I
Yes.
had stated how I felt about all that, and then I want to close off for me on that thing there. Then you could pick it up. That I think, in my humble opinion, that all those appointed people on that board, from the Ashcroft group and the Briseño group, I think they should all be fired, right? And I think that at the end of the day, some of them should be held accountable, because we are talking about, this is not Mr. Ashcroft BTL or Briseño BTL. This is the people's public assets,
Mm-hmm.
right? The chairman guy, what's his name there? The bacon guy.
Mr. Zawaraga.
The bacon guy, he doesn't see it that way. He think that he could pull on hamstring and say anything that he want to say, and he has a different mindset. Maybe it's because of the job and the description of his duties that Briseño gave him when he elected him to serve on that board, right? I maybe that's the reason why he says and behaves that way. But I think that they should all go, and I'm very disappointed in the unions, right? In that aspect, to be given 60 days and 2 months, or I think it was 3 months,
Till the breeze pass over.
right? Till the breeze pass over, like the 3 months that Briseño gave Mira and the Marine guy, right? Hoping that everything pass over. I think that the unions of this nation of Belize should have been stronger and more demandful, but that's the way they play, right? It's so sad. Um, I think better could have been said, or better could have been done by the union. So, to me, it's a habitual practice for them to behave that way, which is, I don't see the union in Belize that they are really unionists. They are a UDP puppet in terms of leadership, and a PUP puppet in terms of leadership. In the nation of Belize, we have a PUP union and a UDP union, right? That's how I have been seen over the many, 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 many years that I'm on the face of this earth. But they need to do better, right? And it's so sad that these people doing this thing openly, publicly, in public domain, that the people can see their actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad to see the end result, Mr. Morrison and Leonard. That's how I, right? It hurts me to see the constant behavioral practice of the you know our leaders and the union.
Mm,
Back to you, Mr. Morrison. Me and Leonard spoke a little bit on it, so we give you the floor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, I do agree with you, and I think from Mr. Lizaraga introduced his position and made it so
that was
firm,
blatant. That was blatant.
so firm that the BTL was not a of
Public.
interest to the general public. I became convinced that his actions was no longer in service and meeting the fiduciary responsibility of the shareholders of BTL. And at that time, I called for his resignation or removal. So
All right.
some of the other members have participated and show similar inclinations by voting and not realizing or not providing any satisfaction to the public and just acting on their own stewardship. So that again, I find not acting with the fiduciary responsibility of the appointment to the public. Um,
Just one second, Mr. Morrison. I just want to let you guys know, and the public knows that our chairman is already in the background and should grace us just about any time. He can bring
okay,
himself on. Please
yeah,
continue, Mr.
that's
Morrison.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. Um, so for those reasons, I have every reason to believe that he is not fit for the position. The prime minister have enforced that he didn't do anything wrong, and I believe in his calculation he didn't do anything wrong because what
He
he
was
was doing was, let me finish. What he was
mm,
doing was enforcing what the prime minister wanted, what was in support of the prime minister's family, and in in support of the Ashcroft Alliance, and what was in also in the interest of the Lizaraga family. So
mhm.
for those reasons, I could understand why the position is so convoluted and so that we unclear, opaque to the prime minister, that it doesn't um, constitute some level of lack of confidence in the overall public. So for those reasons, I have said at the very start of this issue that he was unfit and should resign, and I continue to hold that. The position of the unions to extend it to 90 days, I'm not sure why they allowed such um, a duration of time. They must have their reasons, but it seems to me that setting that time frame and not following up with any sort of consequences or any type of actions that will follow through leaves an opening, and it gives suspect to whether they have the true commitment to
Well,
to
the, the people was already riled up and ready to roll and go, and they kind of like tamper down the emotions and the strength of the people, and put them in
Yeah.
a band, because then it will be hard now to just go back and pick up from where we were before, to say, well, okay, well, when the union is ready, then everybody must be ready. You know, I yield back, sir. I just wanted to
Yeah.
contribute that
So
thought.
for that reason, that the union did not follow through or give any true conditions for how they will resolve this and what actions they plan to do, and extended it to such a large scale of time. I think it creates some suspect on my part, and concern on my part, that they may not be fully committed to this. And we have to always remember, these unions have acted with partisan regard many times, and so they just may be playing their way out of things to deal with the politics of the day and the politics of their own reins. So yeah, that's my concern about it, Mr.
Politics
President.
of convenience, I'd call it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good,
Thank you
good
very much, Mr.
observation there, Mr. Morrison. Thank you for yet another, you know, we could see yet another person, is seeing the ills, Leonard, right?
Uh,
Seeing the ills and,
our
and, and
chairman is
calling
on
it
now with
out,
us, Mr.
right?
Wade. Our chairman is with us now, so maybe we should just yield to him, because maybe his program may not necessarily be what we had been trying to supplement with, no? And
Yes, sir.
just let it. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. Good night to you
Welcome, sir.
guys sitting with me virtually. I want to say good night to you, the public at home and abroad also. Thanking you for tuning into this our 478th edition of Belizean Affairs. Gentlemen, I was in the back there listening to you guys discussing wrongdoings. And as you mentioned, the unions and the public at large is saying they want the head of BTL, I believe that is Mr. Bacon, to be terminated. But our Prime Minister is saying he done nothing wrong. No, because executive overreach was done, we have to hold the Prime Minister accountable, because it is my belief that he was also involved, as well as the Minister of Telecommunications.
He was making the calls, Mr. Chairman. He was making
And
the calls to the board members.
true, but we don't want to have this discussion and only mention it. Here in Belizean Affair, we want to show and tell, because these people always do what?
Tell on themselves on
Tell
each
on
other.
themselves.
That is correct. So, Mr. Morrison, when you were speaking about it just now, let's go back and listen to the tape so the public can see that these gentlemen know exactly what they were doing. Let's go to the first tape. You guys can recall when I mentioned this.
I think they made a very comprehensive presentation, but we're still waiting some additional information before a final decision is made.
So are you satisfied with the presentation today?
We had three separate presentations. I think they were all of them were good, but like I said, we're still waiting for additional information.
Do you hold to your initial position that this is not a monopoly being created? You had said that initially.
I said that in reference to the data.
Data.
As you know, the current system is also providing for what they call MCNOs, and so that would also deal.
The word is MCNOs. You remember that, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm. misspeaking.
Hawaiian.
But what he
Trying to
is
sound like
not
him.
telling the public at large, and I don't have the tapes to go back, so what I will do is mention it as we go along the show. That's the first tape. MCNO. Let's go to the next tape, gentlemen.
We're not going to be a monopoly.
Why would you say that?
Because the law provides for what they call an MVNO. Help me out here, MCO. But MVNO,
There is the word again, gentlemen. But with the exception, the good lion minister of the telecommunication said NCNO instead of MVNO. So they were talking to each other, including the prime minister, who said the law allows for it. When we know the law do not allow for that. But
Mr.
I
Chairman,
want to go
Mr. Chairman,
even further.
Mr. Chairman, I've been saying over and over that these people are in constant communication with each other. The Prime Minister gets on his phone and speaks to these guys and the board members and speaks to Mr. Ashcroft. Mr. Ashcroft would not have come to our board and try to push our board without the backing of the Prime Minister.
Yes,
What's
that
wrong in
might be
business
so,
with him?
Mr. Brackett, but
Are you
what
back, sir?
I
Sorry for
want to
interrupting.
prove here tonight, do you recall when this first came around people at home and abroad, that coming from the Prime Minister, he said that they would make a statutory instrument to regulate it? And they did do a statutory instrument, number 36 of 2026, which froze the assets of BTL, thinking that the takeover would have happened. But instead it backfired because of pressure. And now they froze BTL assets so they cannot raise their prices. And who does that favor? The companies they were trying to take over. So when you hear them speaking, the Minister of Telecommunication is the ones who signed the statutory instrument. And here you have the Prime Minister speaking about he don't think they do any wrong because he was involved in it. He knew about it.
Mr. Chairman, the statutory instrument cannot trump the constitutional act.
That is correct.
And we've been saying that to them, what, a few months now? And look like they still can't catch on. Or don't want to catch on.
That is correct. So, damage control is being trying to done without pointing fingers. But then, if you ask the question, who was behind the statutory instrument that froze BTL assets? It can only come from the above because no minister has the power solely to do that. And if he did, and we know he did because his name is on their side,
exactly,
he also should be held accountable. In fact, they should also suspend him because he violated not only the Telecommunication Act, but the Constitution.
Yep.
I go to you first, Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, it's a pleasure to sit in your company, sir. You know, they're all in it together, Mr. Chairman and Leonard and Mr. Morrison, right? You know, and they all stand to gain because they are in it together. And the key people, you have the Shabbat guy, you have the Bacon guy, you have Mr. Ashcroft, and you have
the Prime Minister,
the leader, right, of this nation, right? They came up with the idea. They orchestrated the whole thing, right? And you know, you will get this, and you will get that, and you will get that, and they all stand to gain. But all I'm saying is, guys, I'm glad that the matter is where it's at, right? I hope and pray that, one, Ashcroft does not get a dime more from the people and nation of this country. Um, and I hope and pray that the other three pushers be brought to justice, right? And held accountable. And I'll say no more on that. And those
Thank you,
are my
Mr.
key.
Wade, but the damage has been done, sir. You guys and people at home and abroad remember when I said this was legalized conspiracy?
Mm-hmm.
I will repeat it. I said it was legalized conspiracy. I
Mm-hmm.
will tell you why. It was set up in a way that if the sale did not go through the takeover, by passing the SI, classing BTL as a dominant provider, the assets get froze and Smart and the other corporation can compete. For 3 years, they has to have to gain on BTL. Everything that is pushed forward. So it was set up in a way for them either to take it over, and if they did not, that Smart SmeedNet would not lose. And this is what happened. I go to you, Mr. Morrison.
Yes, thank you very much. I think BTL reported profit of $32 million for the current fiscal year, and that is a tremendous amount of profit. We don't know what it involves, whether it's just selling its services or whether it's the liquidation of some assets or what brought about that. So we can't really project what the future holds for them, or I can, from just that. If someone was to say this was just from the selling of our services and that how we earned our money, then I could say, wow, they're in a pretty good role, and they probably could sustain the next 3 years of not having to raise rate, or even though costs are incurring and such, they at least they have a buffer, and they could sustain it a little bit. But since they didn't tell us that, it creates a problem. But since the acquisition of Smart did not go through, I don't see why BTL is frozen in place from, in fact, having the ability to increase its rate, since that did not happen, because that was supposed to have been contingent, that since they were a monopoly, a full monopoly, that they would somehow be restricted because they would have had those all the customers. So that is problematic, and that is something, like you pointed out, I think needs to be revisited, and the public and the unions and even the stockholders of BTL need to bring to the attention of the government, because since that um, merger or acquisition did not go through, I don't believe that BTL should be constrained to that position that was part of the contingency of allowing the acquisition to occur. So there are lots of issues that they're tying BTL to, that is really, as the former prime minister says, huddling BTL, and people need to be vigilant of this. Shareholders in BTL, even the public, because if BTL is not able to adjust and make the moves it needs, then the customers suffer. They'll suffer in the terms of quality. Yeah, you have a lower rate, but if a lower rate means nothing if your quality and service is not at the notch that you require to conduct and maintain your business and whatever um, service you're trying to acquire from this telecommunication company. So the prime minister has a lot to answer for this, and I don't think it's finished. I don't think the union should let it go unaddressed. I don't think the shareholders of BTL, the general public, we all still have a strong foot in this and needs to make sure that the government remains transparent and accountable and fair in its dealing with BTL and does not huddle it so that smart can raise up and be more of a challenge. There's nothing wrong with fair competition and fair challenge, but if you are in fact putting your foot on the neck of BTL and giving your private brother's
But,
telecommunication company
but
all the
mm,
leeway and all the chances of, increasing their revenue stream and holding BTL to a restraint that doesn't seem um, consistent with when the deal of acquisition did not go through. So that's my position, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Exactly why I said, and I'm calling it out as legalized conspiracy. Because what you did, the question is who will be held accountable and who will go to jail for it. That should be the main question. And that will be the question that we will ask for the rest of this show. Mr. Brackett, I go to you on that topic
thank you very much,
before
Mr.
I
Chairman.
change.
Yes, sir. Okay. Uh, Mr. Morrison mentioned a little earlier in the earlier part of his comment to say that he understands that BTL probably made about $30 million profit. How they made it, they didn't put out the information for us to be able to parse through and do a proper analysis of the numbers. But my point is that if that were to be true, for example, that they made $30 million, and if BTL had gone ahead and acquired Smart, and out of that $30 million that they made now, they would have had to put down for 4 years straight. They would have to be paying cover that $80 million plus. That $80 million was supposed to have been 90 plus because it did not include a lot of other overhead expenses before that deal would have closed. So let's say call it 90 as a rounded off number. $90 million divided by 4 is how much? Okay, 90 million divided by 4 is
About
actually
23 or so.
20 something $1 million, right?
Yeah,
It's 22
23,
point something.
22. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So and BTL would have had to pay out, according to the schedule that they had before, all that money. As a matter of fact, the first payment would have been on interest only. So your first payment would have $20 million would have been just to pay off interest, and then the rest of it would have been paid off in the next 3.2 years. So they would have been taking up all the profit. Like I think I said that on one occasion in the past when we were doing some analysis and some numbers crunching, and that's what it showed, that BTL, not BTL, Smart, and the owners of the shares of Smart that we would have been buying would have been taking into themselves most of the profit out of BTL for the next 4 or 5 years. And at the end of the day, we would have no money between now and then to enhance our company or to invest in our company and to compete against smart, what they call it, Starlinks and whatever other providers would come in to want to, provide services. So we would have been stuck while our money is going to these. So we would have been paying out these guys. So these guys from the get-go, did not have any good will towards the Belizean people and the shareholders of that company. As a matter of fact, Mr. Bacon was put there specifically, as I stipulated back earlier when he was first appointed, to hobble the BTL so that the BTL does not succeed and that they would have had a chance then to turn around and say, well, it's being managed by the government and it's not succeeding, therefore we need to relinquish it and turn around and sell it off back to Mr. Ashcroft on a penny on the dollar compared to the amount that we paid for it. And these guys know exactly what they're doing. They're not stupid, but they think that we don't know or we are out here and not paying enough attention. And all of us as Belizeans are all in the same at the same point in life trajectory and our ability to understand and know these things or have an interest in these things. So they think all of us are basically, the smart man on the street, Just taking
Thank you,
advantage of
Mr.
us.
Brackett.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. It is set up for BTL to fail if they didn't acquire Smart SmeedNet. But the question that I have asked, who is going to go to jail? We want to know that.
Inquiring minds want to know, Mr. Chairman.
Inquiring minds, I go to the tape. Who is going to go to jail? Gentlemen, tonight Channel 7 showed the full-blown video of the Budna kidnapping, and we have it here on Belizean Affair. I want to show it, and I want you guys to pass your comment, because the question now becomes, who is going to go to jail? Heads should be turning starting tomorrow. There should be arrest, and whoever was caught in the act of preventing justice, may it be executive overreach, also should be held accountable. Let's go to the tape.
1 year and 2 days ago, Joseph Budna ended this Facebook Live with a sense of foreboding.
I hear something just now. I hear somebody say, Budna. Nobody there wrong here. Make me go. Me move fire now. And me one there. Anyway, bye. Bye, bye, bye.
Within minutes, an unprecedented crime unfolded. Budna is walking to his car on Main Street when Vehicle 1 pulls up on him. 2 men jump out and they try to capture him. Budna turns and dashes down Queen Victoria Avenue towards the police station. It's the only place he feels he will be safe. One of the pursuing men, who our research says is a police officer attached to the SPU, chases him. And vehicle number 2, a Chevy Equinox, pulls onto Queen Victoria Avenue. The pursuing officer on foot wields a baton in his hand. Budna is now sprinting towards the police station. The officer cuts him off, while the pursuing driver pulls up in the Equinox, police combat driving style, to stop Budna from running off. Budna literally runs for his life, pirouettes away from the Equinox, slips away, runs the other way back to Main Avenue. Another man, allegedly Police Constable Barry Flowers, comes jogging from Main Street to cut him off again. Budna now dashes back towards the Sandy Hunter Library, but he falls. And that's where the first pursuing officer catches up with him and starts to club him. A pedestrian walks up and the kidnappers drive him away. The beating continues. It would last for almost 4 minutes, while another one of the kidnappers strolls over. Remember, all this is happening within feet of the town's police station. But there is no criminal urgency or stealth. They are doing this on their streetlights, on a public sidewalk. Budna is there fighting for his life, but the beating continues. 1.5 minutes after it started, the police station's duty officer, Corporal Carlos Choco, who was alerted by police constables in front of the station, ambles over to see what's happening. One of the officers who's beating Budna stands up, no urgency, to tell Choco, this is police business. He allegedly said, instructions from the boss. Seeing a uniformed officer, the concerned pedestrian returns again, and this time both Choco and one of the kidnappers, allegedly Police Constable Flowers, shoot him off. It's been 2 minutes now that police have Budna on the ground, and they are still fatiguing him, trying now to tie him up for a long journey in tonight, halfway across the country to Arenal. After 3 minutes on the ground, they lift him, cart him across the street, and stuff him into the back seat of the Equinox.
They grabbed me, they picked me up from my 2 feet while I was knocked out, and they dragged me into the SUV Equinox, sky blue, and as a result they placed me on the seat, and I was placed, one of them sit on top of my head. They handcuffed me to the front because they couldn't get my hand to the back.
It's 8:34 p.m. A civilian vehicle turns into Queen Victoria Avenue, but the driver sees it is blocked by the Chevy Equinox. Only the police would be so brazen. They have a citizen tied up in the back seat, a citizen who faces no criminal charge, but they don't seem too concerned, and the civilian pickup just turns around. Budna is inside, desperately fighting for his life.
As a result of that, they had my mouth taped. Now they taped my mouth and they held one of my feet and they tied one of my feet. And while I was fighting to get some air because the tape was covering my nose, and they butt me into my head because I was screaming. And that is when they covered my mouth.
4.5 minutes after the operation started, the powder blue Chevy Equinox lazily pulls off, making a U-turn on Queen Victoria and driving off into the night. A few minutes later, the second vehicle, which looks like...
Who is going to go to jail for a kidnapping that is an international crime? I hope everybody in civil rights, including the Europeans, take a look at this tape and come down severely hard on the Belizean government, because you don't need no other proof than this. I go to you, Mr. Morrison.
Yeah, it has been a year and 2 days, or maybe 3 days now, I don't know, since this incident. We hear silence. We had the initial investigation that turned up dump that the Minister of Police at the time said was insufficient and inadequate. We had the Prime Minister look at it and thought it was inadequate. He ordered a second investigation. He put the Commissioner of Police on suspension or vacation or leave or whatever he ended up calling it. And he had the deputy or the the Assistant Commissioner of Police and the press officer, and then do a second investigation, which the DPP classified as less than nothing in terms of information. We've seen the police officer that was supposed to have been part of the initial attention to try and see what was happening, being transferred and promoted, and all type of misbehavior have happened in this. But what we mainly have observed is that the conspiracy has widened and deepened, and so far there has been no consequence for this crime of kidnapping. And we only hope that now probably the last resort is the civil action that Mr. Budna has taken, will somehow bring to light these crime that was committed. And I hope that the people have not forgotten this incident. I mean, we're not here to attest to Mr. Budna. From all indications, he was a despicable individual that was convicted of a crime, that has committed crime in Belize, and therefore um, is not someone to be held up in any shining way. But what is wrong is the violation of his civil rights, his constitutional rights under our law. And also, what's wrong is that he was kidnapped and transported because of his activism against the government. So that shows us that our government is not acting with regards and the constitution and legality, and will do anything in its power, and even when it doesn't have the power, to silence our citizens, and to sequester them, and to make sure that if you challenge them, the harshest of treatment will be shown to individuals. So we can only continue to as individuals, and as the press, and as the opposition, keep asking this very difficult question: who thief Budna? And try to find out and hold our leaders, our police department, and our politicians accountable for this crime. And we hope that one day it will get resolved, and that the facts will be known and made clear to the people of this country. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Well said. I would hope that tomorrow you go arrest Mr. Choco, because he walk up there, the video is playing, and he knows who spoke with him. There is no getting around it. I go to you, Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well said there, Mr. Morrison.
Thank
You mentioned that name there, Mr. Chairman. If I was on duty, if I was on duty at the Orange Walk police station, and I'm looking at a crime that is unfolding, and I do not act. I did not carry out my duties, then I am an accomplice.
The law is enterprise, Mr. Wade.
You said it right there, Mr. Chairman. Go and arrest Corporal Choco for not doing his job. And he looked at it. He looked at the crime unfolding. And what is the duties of a police officer? What is his duty? Okay? So you start there, and everything else will unfold. Because I know he saw what was happening, and they put, and the criminals that were in act, right? He saw it. So, all I say, Mr. Chairman, of all we've been talking about this, ever since it unfolded. I'm waiting on the court date, and I am waiting. I hope I'm still alive to see that these people are brought to justice, right? Because I know them, and I know that a lot of us know who these people are and where the orders came from, because there are only certain individuals that could have given that order, right? So, I just, like I've always said, that I hope that Mr. Budna has good representation, and his representation is seeking his justice.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Mr. Brackett, I go to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to point out that for such an endeavor to have taken place, somebody in high authority in the police department, when I say high authority, I'm talking about from the police commissioner down, had to have given the go-ahead, the acquiescence, the transfer of authority to act, and below the police commissioner, more likely than not, there would have been a deputy commissioner, and or in order to cover the police commissioner's deniability possibilities, there would have been a deputy commissioner and what they call it, an operations. There's a correct term for the person, but what it means basically is somebody who controls the department that carries out operations throughout the country, not just a precinct chief or head. Okay, for example, like in Orange Walk, for them to have done that in Orange Walk, it wouldn't have just required the Mr. What's it called?
There's a chain of command there.
Right, basically, that's what I'm trying to describe.
Yes, right.
But I'm trying to describe it so the public could get an awareness as to how this process works.
Yes, sir.
And so Mr. Choko had to report to his superior, okay, who would have been the person that's responsible.
The OC of the Orange Walk.
Yeah, right. And then that OC would only have allowed that to have gone through him without him recording it as a crime and having the book reflect that the crime did occur in his jurisdiction. The person that would have more likely than not interferes with him would have been one of these
formation commander.
Right. That's what I was looking for earlier when I was stammering. Yeah, the formation commander. In this case, as the details came out and we have been led to understand, gave permission for that gun to be given and made available. That the gun that Mr. Flowers was used to gun butt the guy with. First, they were beating him with a stick, and then afterwards, he was handed the gun to do the gun butting. But the formation commander would have been that gentleman from the what is his name in Belize? It's Mahogany?
Mr. Kowo.
No. I'm talking about the street.
Commander.
Yeah, the street close by the complex, man. By the
Market Street.
No, by the complex, by the sport complex, back. Going towards that street that goes towards the
Mahogany. Is that Mahogany?
I think that's what the name. I'm not sure that's the name. But there was a station on that street on the right hand side, and that commander there, I think Mr. He's a gentleman who's a carry descent person. He was the person that was I can't recall the gentleman's name right now, but he was the person that was responsible for that for the command of that office, that police station, and that's where the operations directive came from to pursue this thing. I try to remember every time, I remember my name.
You have the commissioner. Has somebody that he answer to.
Actually, what you are trying to say, Mr. Brackett,
that's my name. I try to remember, man, and I can't. I know the man name,
person who was over Mr. Flowers allegedly should have been Mr. Gamboa.
That's the man name that I'm trying to get at. Thank you for ringing the bell. That's the gentleman. He commands operations throughout the whole country. Okay? And he is the person that would have been in the position underneath the deputy, underneath the commissioner or the deputy commissioner to have been given the order to carry out that activity, and who would have allowed that gun to be assigned to that particular task, and who Mr. Flowers, just after coming back from having been on what they call it again? There's another name for that too. He was being suspended, and he was just coming back from his suspension. They would not have sent him to do a legal police job like that, other than the fact that he's a trusted person in the system, because it's not the first or last time that he would have been involved in any such activity. Okay, there's a track record there that I'm talking or speaking to, that I know about and other people know about. But that's how that thing got hooked up. But they got directive, the police commissioner office got directed through political authority. Okay, they were just the ones who carry out the order. But the thing was concocted from the very day when Budna had the argument with the Prime Minister on that field. From that day, that issue was concocted, and then the bits and pieces got put into place. That's how the whole story. And now they're waiting and stalling and hoping that time will run out, so that if anybody is to be tried, they will use a time of limitation to say,
Can't.
well,
Not on kidnapping, sir.
I know that, but
kidnapping does not
yes, but
expire.
to get to the kidnapping, to get to the kidnapping, there's all these other things that I was trying to describe earlier. There's a reason why I went through that description and explanation, and because at the end of the day, you have to deal with those things to be able to get to the kidnapping itself. The kidnapping is just one outcome, and all these different people and all these different circumstances have to be brought to the attention of the DPP and put on record in order for her to have a substantive case to be tried. She can't go with, just like she said, with almost nothing on the file when I describe none of these activities, and try and prosecute nobody. They will laugh out of the court.
Thank you, sir. We have come to it now. Here and Belizean affair, I have mentioned it before. It was not the first time. They have been doing this since 2018 under unconstitutional state of emergencies.
Exactly.
And so they just went bigger, and now the truth is coming out, regardless of they trying to cover it with executive overreach. There's one more thing I want to bring out here tonight, and we have been speaking about whenever this
before you leave that subject, could I just interject something, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I think that what we have not realized, and what many people have not realized, is that our police department and political leadership should know that they have lost international credibility, because I believe that video has been viewed all over the world, all over the Caribbean, and it shows that there's a level of dire corruption within our politics and within our police department. And so I'm sure that is going to be something that other countries will be looking at. Some will try to exploit it, but others will be looking at it with caution and with some type of consequences that will affect all of us as Belizeans.
Well said, Mr. Morrison.
And Mr. Chairman, they had 4 or 5 tips that all disappeared.
I would hope, Mr. Morrison, the UN State Department get involved and say, you know what? We are holding you accountable. Nobody goes to jail for that. We're going to stop all your legal aids that we are giving you. But I want to say this, because here in Belizean Affairs, we have been bringing these topics, pushing them forward, and based on what we have been discussing, 98% of what we have said has come to pass. Here in Belizean Affair, we had also stated whenever this government get into power, what they do, nationalize and privatize. And to prove us here and Belizean affair that this is the truth in reality, and we had used personally the private public bus company that we had discussed by stipulating that they are trying to take away that company from the bus holders who was running it, that they threatened with new bus and all that. They never brought in any until they went and formed a new bus company, when all along the whole idea of it was for it to be nationalized. So let's hear the tape.
Note that the government had the option to nationalize the sector. But what would that have meant? It would have meant that government would have had to find the money to compensate the operators for their businesses. The independent auditors who valued the 17 operators now that started out the NBC, we have one more that is coming in and 4 more who are waiting in line. That added up.
I want to stop the tape there because the gentlemen have no shame in telling and the government and himself stipulating on national TV that the government, if they wanted, could have nationalized the bus company. Just take away from the Belizeans in violation of their constitutional right. And this is what has been happening every time this political party gets into government. Gentlemen, we are at that time, but I will give 2 minutes each, sir, starting with you, Mr. Wade.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have seen the sagas that plays out with when you see that this government in power nationalize, take away, the utilities from the Belizean people and put it in their friends and cronies' hands, and they do their transactions and, with no kind of sympathy, no kind of love of the Belizean people. But they stand up and grandstand that they love the Belizean people and love the nation of Belize. Who believes that based on their actions? As to that whole saga there, it will not end well. It's been developing. We could more or less tell what will happen on the end, right? It's so sad. But the whole scenario of this that irks me is that everything that they does and they turn over the pot and they they play around with what's in there, and in the end, who suffers? Only the Belizean people. Say no more, Mr. Chairman, on that.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. I will go to you, Mr. Morrison, but I must say this. If Police Officer Elmerna could have been convicted by a videotape that they could not enhance to see who was the individual, then I am sure that the videotape with the Budna's kidnapping that they can see as plain as daylight, I am hoping some heads will turn. I go to you, Mr. Morris, 2 minutes.
Thank you. The corruption we see in in all this with the transportation authority, with the buses and the people that were part of this grouping now being left out in the cold. It's very concerning. But you know, this is not the first time we have had corruption in our transportation industry. We must never forget the 38-40 million dollars that was loaned through BT.
In Novellas,
Novellos.
No, but through
DFC.
DFC, through DFC. Sorry, I couldn't remember it. Through DFC, that never got returned to the government in payment. We see that they have opened up and have created this conglomerate of bus operators and have left out the others, and now the subsidy that continues to be needed is and giving up on that is just to squeeze them into further pressure so that they will not survive and will either decide to join, like the minister said, there's 4 that's coming on board and there's 11 more, 7 more that's going to come on board. This is just a tactic to disenfranchise these private individual operators. I don't have a problem with better bus transportation service, some order and some control, because we have all seen the arrogance of the drivers racing along the road, putting the public, the ridership at risk and danger. We know that there's scamming going on because it is not, it is a cash type of deal that some drivers involve themselves in. And so there is need for order. There is need to discipline it. But we don't believe that the government may have made the right approach and may have been treating the individual operators fairly. And I do believe that the subsidy should continue at this point because the pressure and the needs are still there because of the oil crisis. So I think that we need to have the overall prime minister look at this, the minister of transportation and the cabinet, and come on the part of justice for the independent operators, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. I will hope that the unions and the private sectors and NGO start protesting like how they have the government at this point with the BTL. I would hope they hit the streets now and put the pressure on in light of this Budna's tape. I go to you, Mr. Brackett, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In regards to the National Bus Company, the problem is, as I had said from the very beginning when they started out on this venture, and which they have daily been confirming, that is that they want to get some of the bus drivers them off of those runs so they can consolidate those runs for a smaller group of people that will be sponsored by the government out of the private pocket to create this National Bus Company. And at some point in the future, this National Bus Company will be sold off to some other investor, whether it be local or foreign. But there's no intention for the government to actually continue this process that they're doing right now. It's just a transition process. It was all about breaking the back of those independent operators who, under the Constitution, used to sue the government when they had problems with the government. And the government doesn't want to pay out any money to them, and they don't want to be sued. So they are trying to break their back, pressure them into voluntarily surrender their livelihood. And the Constitution says that the government is not supposed to be indulging in that type of stuff. But because they are the government, they go and they make laws, onerous laws, unconstitutional laws at that, because there can't be any law that is constitutional that violates the Constitution. And the Constitution tells them that they cannot be dispossessing of these people their livelihood or infringing on these people's ability to make a living. And basically all they wanted was to use the excuse about the world buses then, because if it was just about the world buses then, they could have put under statutory instrument rules, they could have created protocols and procedures for public safety. As a matter of fact, some of those laws are on the book already. All they had to do is implement those laws. But that wasn't the agenda. The agenda was to take on and create rules and regulations to dispossess these people of their assets and their livelihood, and for the government to be able to privatize that endeavor. We are coming to it. It's going to be proven right at the end of the day. All
That
the
is
bits and
correct.
pieces are in place.
That is
I'll leave
correct,
back, Mr.
sir.
Chairman. Time is wrong.
Thank you. I want to thank you guys for sitting with me virtually. And I want to close by saying this. I would hope the Belizean public would sue the government for the creation of a SI that is in violation of the Constitution and should be null and void when they went and they implemented SI 36 of 2026 to freeze the BTL assets.
Mr. Chairman, there's another problem though, and that is because even if we sue, or anybody or somebody sue, or some group sues, we have these new judges that are being brought in that are expected to rule according to the government wishes. And that
Mr.
presents a problem
Brackett,
for us to, unless we are able to go to the
Mr. Brackett, SI is null and void.
Yes, but I'm saying that these
And
judges,
SI cannot trump the Parent Act, sir.
we know
A
that, and
judge
we have been
cannot
saying
go
that, Mr.
outside of
Chairman.
that ruling. A judge cannot rule against that.
The judge, we have these
You
judges
made
that-
a statutory instrument knowing damn well that regulation cannot jump the Parent Act.
That's why they
It's
lost
unconstitutional.
that's why they lost the BSI ESR case, Mr.
Exactly.
Chairman. You and I know that. We've been debating
Exactly.
these things back and forward. But the problem is that we now have new judges that have come in since then, and these judges, the rulings that they're making are according to what I'm trying to say to you, according to the government's wishes. In other words, anything that goes to court that does not favor the government, the judges are going to be a backstop to guard for the government. That's why they're hiring them.
I understand where
We
you're
gotta
going
face
with
that
that.
reality.
I understand where you're going with that, but then the question becomes, does the PUC has the authority to make a SI that is inconsistent with the Constitution?
Well, it's
You
not
know the
PUC
answer
it's
for
not-
that.
Yes, but it's not the PUC that makes those SI, it's the minister. Right? But the minister can only make those SI after they go to cabinet. Okay? Cabinet direct the minister to go ahead and make that SI.
Mr. Brackett, they never went to cabinet. And
I'm
that
saying the
note, though,
process.
I
you
want
and
to say,
anyhow, it's all right. I want to debate.
I want to say good night to you, the people at home and abroad. I want to thank those of you who have tuned in and watched our show, Belizean Affairs, live on YouTube. And I want to thank those of you who will watch it later. And I want to say, I hope that you will be back here on Wednesday when we have our 479th edition of Belizean Affair. Again, I want to thank you guys, Mr. Morrison.
Yes, thank you. And I hope we could get to talk about this situation with the opposition, where two of their main leadership individuals have resigned from participating in that organization's leadership. And I think
I could
that's,
promise you we could touch on that on Wednesday, Mr. Morrison. We
that's
could
very
talk a little
important
bit.
because we need a viable opposition, a credible opposition to ensure
Mr.
the-
Morrison,
Yes,
it's a good thing you brought that up, and Mr. Wade, it would be a good topic, and I will tell you why. The redistricting, we know what the Constitution says. So why is it now, based on what the Election and Boundaries Commission had said, the Prime Minister intend to amend Section 90? You see what I'm saying?
Our
We
system of
need to
governance is
watch
being
what these
corrupted, sir.
people are doing.
They're
And I
corrupting our
want to
system of
say this
governance.
before I close. People at home and abroad, be very careful with this PCC act that they are trying to trust through the house.
Yeah.
Mr. Morrison, that's something we want to touch tomorrow too, if
Yes,
we have the
yes,
time
yes,
too.
yes,
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
Wednesday.
I'm sorry,
I
on
thought it
Wednesday.
was on a respite, and all of a sudden I heard it's
Yes,
just
man.
as new as could be.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, yes, sir.
Again, I want to thank you guys, and I want to say good night to the public at home and abroad. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Chairman.